In a surprising turn of events, former U.S. President Donald Trump recently made a controversial statement during a rally, declaring that only male and female genders should be recognized in America. His remarks have reignited a nationwide debate on gender identity, sparking reactions from various political, social, and activist groups. Trump supporters cheered in agreement, viewing his statement as a return to traditional values, while opponents criticized it as an attack on LGBTQ rights and inclusivity. As the news spread across social media, it quickly became a trending topic, dividing public opinion even further. Trump's statement aligns with his long-standing conservative stance on social issues, appealing to a significant portion of his voter base who advocate for traditional family values and biological definitions of gender. "We are bringing back common sense," he told the crowd, emphasizing his belief that recognizing only two genders would help restore what he called America's true identity. Many conservative lawmakers and right-wing commentators echoed his sentiments, calling for policies that align with this binary view of gender, arguing that it would simplify legal, educational, and healthcare systems. However, civil rights organizations and LGBTQ advocates have strongly condemned Trump's remarks, arguing that such rhetoric undermines the rights of transgender and non-binary individuals. Advocacy groups like the Human Rights Campaign and the ACLU have issued statements defending gender diversity and highlighting the importance of legal recognition for all gender identities. Denying the existence of non-binary and transgender individuals is not only harmful but also ignores decades of scientific and social progress, said a spokesperson from the LGBTQ community. The political ramifications of Trump's stance have already started to take shape, with some Republican lawmakers preparing bills to reinforce binary gender policies in public institutions, such as schools and government records. On the other hand, Democrats and progressive leaders are rallying to counter these moves, calling for stronger protections and federal policies to ensure gender inclusivity. The issue is expected to become a central talking point in upcoming elections, with both sides using it to rally their bases and push their respective agendas. Beyond politics, Trump's statement has also sparked discussions in everyday American households and workplaces. Parents, educators, and employers are now grappling with the potential implications of such policies on schools, workplaces, and social interactions. While some argue that a binary gender system would bring clarity and consistency, others believe it would lead to discrimination and exclusion of those who don't fit within the traditional categories. As debates continue, many individuals find themselves caught in the middle, seeking a balance between personal beliefs and the evolving social landscape. Social media has played a significant role in amplifying the controversy, with hashtags like #OnlyTwoGenders and #GenderDiversity trending across platforms such as Twitter and TikTok. Influencers, celebrities, and activists have joined the conversation, sharing their personal stories and perspectives on gender identity. Some have praised Trump for taking a firm stance, while others have shared experiences of discrimination and struggles for acceptance, highlighting the complex and deeply personal nature of gender identity in today's society. As the nation remains divided on the issue, it is clear that the debate over gender identity and recognition is far from over. Trump's statement has once again placed gender politics at the forefront of national discourse, with both supporters and critics preparing for what could be a long battle ahead. Whether this stance will gain further traction or face significant pushback remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: America's conversation about gender is evolving, and its impact will shape the nation's policies and culture for years to come. The ripple effects of Donald Trump's statement have extended beyond political circles and into the very fabric of American society, where questions of identity, inclusion, and tradition have taken center stage. Across the country, families are engaging in heated discussions at dinner tables, classrooms are becoming battlegrounds for ideological clashes, and corporate boardrooms are re-evaluating their diversity and inclusion policies. Many conservative Americans feel validated by Trump's assertion, believing that acknowledging only male and female genders aligns with their deeply held beliefs about biology and societal structure. They argue that recognizing more than two genders creates unnecessary complications in areas such as sports, legal documentation, and public facilities. On the flip side, Proponents of gender diversity argue that such a narrow perspective disregards the lived experiences of millions who identify outside the binary framework. For them, Trump's words are not just a political statement but a direct challenge to their right to exist freely and authentically in society. The tension is palpable, with media outlets dedicating extensive coverage to debates between experts, activists, and policymakers, each offering conflicting views on whether America should embrace or reject the evolving understanding of gender identity. In educational institutions, the debate is becoming increasingly pronounced, with schools and universities caught in the crossfire of ideological battles. Conservative-leaning school boards in several states have already begun drafting new guidelines that seek to enforce binary gender policies, which could impact everything from bathroom access to pronoun usage in classrooms. Some parents and educators support these moves, arguing that children should not be exposed to what they perceive as confusing and unnecessary concepts related to gender fluidity. They see Trump's stance as a step towards protecting what they consider traditional family values and shielding children from woke ideologies. However, progressive educators and student advocacy groups are pushing back, arguing that enforcing such policies could create a hostile and unsafe environment for transgender and non-binary students. Reports have emerged of students feeling increasingly marginalized and fearing for their safety, while others feel empowered to challenge the new restrictions through protests and legal action. The battle over gender identity in schools is not just about policy, it's about the broader cultural war unfolding in America, where younger generations are coming into conflict with the values of their parents and grandparents. The educational sector, once seen as a place of learning and growth, is now becoming a reflection of the nation's deepening ideological divide. Corporate America, too, is feeling the impact of Trump's words as companies face mounting pressure to take a stand on the issue. Many major corporations, which have spent years cultivating inclusive workplace environments and launching diversity initiatives, now find themselves navigating a minefield of public opinion. Some businesses, particularly those with conservative-leaning leadership, are quietly adjusting their policies to align with Trump's vision, removing gender-neutral restrooms and updating employee guidelines to reflect a binary gender structure. Others, however, are doubling down on their commitment to diversity, openly condemning Trump's remarks and reaffirming their support for all gender identities. Companies like Apple, Google, and Starbucks have issued statements reiterating their stance on inclusivity, with some even offering additional resources for transgender and non-binary employees. Yet, not all businesses are taking a clear position, fearing backlash from both sides of the debate. Boycotts and social media campaigns have emerged, with consumers demanding that brands either support traditional gender values or stand firm on inclusivity. The economic impact of this cultural divide is becoming increasingly evident, with some businesses experiencing a surge in support while others face declining revenues due to public outrage. In a climate where taking a stance has real financial consequences, many corporations are left grappling with the difficult question of how to balance their values with the expectations of their diverse customer base. As this controversy continues to unfold, political analysts predict that gender identity will be a defining issue in the upcoming elections, shaping campaign strategies and influencing voter behavior across the political spectrum. Republican candidates are rallying around Trump's statement, using it as a cornerstone of their platforms to attract socially conservative voters who feel alienated by progressive policies. They argue that reinforcing traditional gender norms is essential to preserving American culture and values. On the other hand, Democratic candidates are using Trump's remarks as an opportunity to galvanize their base, emphasizing the importance of inclusivity, equal rights, and social progress. The issue is particularly resonant among younger voters, who overwhelmingly support LGBTQ rights and view Trump's stance as regressive. Political rallies, debates, and social media campaigns are increasingly focusing on the gender identity debate, with each side portraying themselves as the defenders of America's future. As the nation inches closer to election season, it's clear that the battle over gender is far from just a cultural skirmish. It has become a defining moment in America's ongoing struggle to define its identity in an ever-changing world. Whether Trump's binary gender vision gains traction or faces widespread resistance, one thing remains certain: this debate is shaping the future of American politics, society, and culture in ways that will be felt for generations to come. As the debate surrounding Donald Trump's statement continues to escalate, it has begun to infiltrate the very heart of America's legislative system, igniting heated discussions in Congress, state legislatures, and even the Supreme Court. Conservative lawmakers, emboldened by Trump's rhetoric, have introduced a wave of bills across several states aimed at enforcing strict binary gender definitions in legal documents, public facilities, and educational curricula. These proposed laws seek to eliminate gender-neutral language, restrict access to gender-affirming healthcare for minors, and roll back existing protections for transgender individuals in the workplace. Supporters argue that such measures are necessary to protect traditional values, prevent what they call gender confusion, and ensure fairness in areas such as sports and public accommodations. However, the backlash has been swift and fierce. Progressive lawmakers, human rights organizations, and legal experts have condemned these legislative efforts as an outright attack on personal freedoms and an attempt to erase the existence of transgender and non-binary individuals. Some states, such as California and New York, have responded by passing counter-legislation that reinforces gender inclusivity, creating a stark legal divide across the country. As legal battles loom, the Supreme Court is expected to weigh in on the constitutionality of these measures, setting the stage for what could be one of the most significant civil rights cases in recent history. With both sides digging in their heels, the legal war over gender identity is shaping up to be a defining moment for the nation's politics future. And law, Trump's statement has also triggered a cultural reckoning that is playing out in media, entertainment, and sports. Prominent celebrities and influencers have taken strong stances on the issue, using their platforms to voice opinions that have further polarized public opinion. Conservative figures such as Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro have praised Trump for standing up to the radical gender agenda and called on Hollywood to stop promoting woke ideologies in movies and television. On the other hand, A-list stars like Taylor Swift, Ellen DeGeneres, and Billie Eilish have openly criticized Trump's remarks, arguing that his words fuel discrimination and harm marginalized communities. The music industry, in particular, has seen a surge in artists releasing songs and statements championing gender diversity, while conservative country music stars have embraced the opposite stance, leading to a cultural split within the entertainment world. Meanwhile, in the world of sports, controversies are raging over gender inclusion policies, with leagues and governing bodies facing immense pressure to clarify their stance. The issue of transgender athletes competing in women's sports has become a flashpoint, with conservatives arguing it undermines fair competition and progressives advocating for inclusivity and equal opportunities. As media outlets continue to cover these clashes with sensational headlines and divisive commentary, the cultural war over gender identity has reached new heights, leaving everyday Americans caught in the crossfire of conflicting narratives. At the grassroots level, the controversy has sparked an unprecedented wave of activism, with protests, rallies, and boycotts taking place across the country. Conservative groups have organized demonstrations in major cities, waving signs that read "Only two genders and protect our children" while chanting slogans that call for a return to traditional values. Simultaneously, LGBTQ advocacy organizations have mobilized in response, staging counter-protests that emphasize inclusion, equality, and the right to self-identify. Clashes between the two sides have occasionally turned violent, with viral videos capturing heated confrontations that have only fueled further division. Social media platforms have become battlegrounds where users engage in fierce debates, share personal stories, and launch campaigns either in support of or against Trump's stance. Hashtags such as #GenderTruth and #EqualityForAll are trending simultaneously, reflecting the deep divide within American society. Schools, workplaces, and even religious institutions are facing mounting pressure to take a definitive position on the issue, with some churches firmly backing Trump's traditional stance, while progressive congregations advocate for acceptance and inclusion. As tensions continue to rise, it is becoming increasingly clear that Trump's statement has ignited a cultural firestorm that shows no signs of subsiding anytime soon, leaving the nation grappling with one of the most contentious social issues of the 21st century.